Hello my friends, this would rather be a quick video, but I want to share my tier list and my thoughts on Midlane for the new season. I played a lot of solo queue, currently around 891 LP on EOS server, including scrims as well, so I have a lot of data and in my opinion this is the current Midlane tier list. And let's run it down real quick. So we have Ryze in Z tier. In my opinion, Ryze is simply the best champion on mid lane because you don't need any sort of setup, like Talia for example needs good setup in jungle or like on a different role, but Ryze is really insane. He almost gets prio into every single matchup, has no bad matchups at all, and also due to the new boots, he can rush like any sort of boots, like magic resistance boosts, and is basically always fine. Aside from that, the new item that is existing in the game right now is like completely insane on him, and that's why he's Z tier. And if you're looking for a champ to just always blind and pick every single game, just look to learn Ryze. It's a really nice champion. And then aside from that, I focused my tier list like a bit on competitive. I think Asia is a really good champion in competitive still, but for solo queue, sometimes he is not that nice because Asia doesn't have the strongest laning phase. But once he reaches like 2 items and like a specific level threshold, then he's like really insane in the game. So he's a good blind pick for sure, and it's really important that you learn him if you're playing mid lane. But it's not like as good in solo queue as in competitive. So I would like rather advise you to probably play Orianna, for example, if you're looking for a solo queue champion, or Syndra or Talia. And all these three champions kind of do, yeah, not the same, but they're in the same category because they're all mages. They all have some sort of setup. They have like some sort of follow up, right? Orianna, really good blind pick, like no real bad matchups. Same thing for Talia. Talia can basically just push every single wave and get priority on it. And you have the advantage that you can like include yourself in the game really easy by your ultimate. And the game in season 16 is like super fast paced. So what you can basically do is just shove every wave as Talia, then fog into like a specific site and just look for plays with your ultimate. So you can kind of like include yourself in the game basically. Then for counter picks, we have a lot of champions. I think in mid lane, people don't really value counter pick that hard, but it's more of a counter pick against like specific team comps. Because for example, like let's say you have like a last pick on mid lane or like later pick, and the enemies have like no CC, no lockdown. You have like a good mid lane matchup. For example, enemies are blinding Yone or something in mid lane, then Akali is like a really great champion. And Cassiopeia is a really good champion when it comes down to melee champions. So let's say enemy go 4 melee champions and maybe even have a Xayah or something. So really bad comp if it comes down to Cassio, because Cassio has W, right? She's really good into melee matchups. So then Cassio is actually a thing. But when you play Cassio and you play against like all these control mages that have like a lot of range, then you will probably have a hard time. It's kind of the same thing for Galio, for example. Like Galio is a good flex, and Galio is really good into mages where he can just basically push the wave every single time. And like you have specific combinations on Galios that are like really insane. Like let's say you have Camille top lane or something where you can follow up with ult, or you just want to peel a specific target, or like Vi Galio, really nice. Silas, kinda same thing, but on Silas it's also really important what ultimates the enemy have. So for example, let's say like right now Malphite is very popular. I think then you already have a Malphite angle, a Silas angle, sorry. Like it doesn't really matter if you're having a bad matchup, because especially in solo queue, you will always have like a lot of agency. Kassadin, in my opinion, a really broken champion and is not really used that much. But I think, for example, Kassadin into Syndra, or like champions that have low mobility and low lockdown, like as a team in general, then Kassadin becomes really insane. Vladimir is more of a champion when you're like getting a free laning phase somehow, like not playing into these control mages, rather like, I don't know, enemies are blinding TF mid lane or something, or like Echo. Then I think Vladimir, if you can play him, he's really insane. But if you're not really good at Vladimir, then the champion is not that good. Anivia, kind of same thing as Cassio. When you're playing into like a lot of melee champions, low range, then this champ becomes really good. Zeref, the exact opposite. So Zeref, for example, is really good into Asia on mid lane simply because Asia has a lot of range, but as Zeref, you outrange him. So if you're looking for a champion, especially against maybe like more mobile champions that you can kind of nuke with your ultimate, then Zeref can actually be a thing, but he's super hard to play. Lissandra, Not really played that often, but it's really good if you need to lock down one target. So let's say, for example, I don't know, the enemies go, let's say, echo mid lane again or something. You will like not have the nicest lane into like any sort of matchups, in my opinion. But you have really good lockdown. For example, when you have Jinx or something in your team, then Lissandra can actually be huge because in team fights you're just like protecting your Jinx, playing for one reset with your W and ult. Malzahar, it's kind of the same thing, like just a different champion than Lissandra, in my opinion. Aurelion and Swain are champions that are, again, really good into melee champions. They have insane scaling, but need to get through laning phase. Like, especially if you're playing Aurelion and you play into, like, Syndra or something, the matchup is, like, really bad. I would not advise you to do that. Then the other champions in A tier, like Ari, for example, is also a good pick. She's more of like a tempo mage where you can just shove in a wave and then like move into a specific side lane. Zed, if you're a really good Zed player, Zed mid lane is really good. Same for Yasuo, but at Yasuo you kind of need any sort of like setup again. Victor, also decent mage, but I feel like the other mages on top are just better. Zoe is more of a OTP champion, but if you're really good at Zoe, then I think Zoe definitely has a place. Twisted Fate, also I love that champion, but struggles into like all these mages. But yeah, it's same thing. Like every champion this A tier list, like if you're good on them, you can pick them for sure. Like they are still in a good place. Like Echo with the new item as well. Wei is always a really solid mage. Like you can play them her whenever. Nafiri, good flex pick as well. I feel like Corki is also viable on mid lane, flex with AD carry and Cyan. It's if you just want to neutralize like the lane and the enemies are maybe playing, I don't know, Vex or something, and you can just stack MR because enemy top also has a magic damage champion, then Cyan can actually be a thing when you have like damage on other roles, of course. I think Yon is not that good right now in mid lane. Like he struggles into all of these champions. It's really hard. Mel got nerfed super hard. Aurora, in my opinion, I'm not sure. I think she can be put into A tier, honestly. Irelia is more of like an OTP champion. If you're really good at Irelia, I would highly advise you to just play her top lane. I think top lane is like so much better than mid lane. Fizz looks useless every single time I see him. I think Ziggs can actually be a tier up, especially with like 80 flex. I honestly think that Ziggs can maybe be good. And Annie has like sort of lockdown, but is still not really played that often. And then here we have like Katarina, Kiana Akshan that are like basically only solo queue champions. I don't think they are really that viable in competitive, only if you're OTP. And yeah, that's kind of it. That's like my thoughts on the mid lane tier list. Feel free to reach out in the comment section or like write me a DM. On my Discord, we are always discussing about champions and tier lists. If you want to check that one out, feel free to join. And then I'm wishing you a nice day. Goodbye.